Hi, welcome to Binance Academy's Web3 and Metaverse course. In this course, you will learn the basics of Web3, the Metaverse, non-fungible tokens, and GameFi. Blockchain technology is a critical component of the future megatrends of our digital world. In this first module, we explain the concept of Web3, a term you've probably already heard much about. To know what Web3 is, we need to first understand Web 1.0 and Web 2.0. Web 1.0 refers to the first version of the web during the early 1990s. A few people created static and primarily text-based web pages for a large group of readers to read. This publisher-centric Web 1.0 can be called the read-only web, designed to help people find information with little interactivity. There was almost no way for users to interact with the information or upload their own data, except through simple text-based chat messages and online forums. In 1999, author and web designer Darcy DiNucci coined Web 2.0 to distinguish it from Web 1.0. Web 2.0 refers to the shift towards a more interactive internet focused on the users participating and contributing to the web. If Web 1.0 was the read-only web, then Web 2.0 was the read and write web, or participatory web. This platform-centric Web 2.0 emphasizes user-generated content in portals such as social media platforms, blogs, and podcasts. It also features improved interactivity, as the user experience moves from static to dynamic. Short video apps, for example, give each user a customized interaction with user-generated content based on personal interests and algorithmic recommendations. The term Web3 was coined by Ethereum co-founder Gavin Wood in 2014 to describe a decentralized internet based on blockchain technology. As Web3 is still a nascent iteration of the future web, there are different opinions on what it should be. But generally, Web3 is envisioned as decentralized, open, and places the users at the center. If Web 1.0 is the read-only web and Web 2.0 is the read and write web, then Web3 is the read, write, and own web. A core vision of Web3 is to counter the weaknesses of Web 2.0, which saw a handful of giant tech platforms dominating digital lives globally. Internet tech giants were able to distribute, censor, and monetize the data and content that everyone else was publishing on the internet. They often also created barriers to entry so that other platforms and individuals would not threaten any monopolistic strongholds they may have. Web3 is envisioned to allow users to move to decentralized platforms with greater control of their personal data, enjoy greater privacy, and be rewarded for the data or content that they choose to share. Users can interact, exchange information, and conduct peer-to-peer financial transactions, becoming content owners instead of just content users. Non-fungible tokens, or NFTs, are thought to be an early version of a technology that lets users become owners of their data and creations. Blockchain will also enable permissionless digital identities with the usage of crypto wallets, leading to more inclusive and equitable digital economies. Another essential feature of Web3 is what's called the semantic web, which means computers can understand and use information just as humans can. With the help of artificial intelligence, rules for handling data, and better sensor hardware, the world's information will serve our needs dynamically and intelligently. An example is how artificial intelligence enables drug development and content creation more efficiently. How does blockchain fit into Web3? The open, censorship-resistant, user-owned, trustless Web3 of the future needs new technologies, and blockchain provides an answer to many of these Web3 goals. Although blockchain technologies are still in development, they attempt to answer the question of how to manage a decentralized ecosystem. Built on blockchain technology, many crypto products are expected to play critical roles. Blockchain-based digital identity, crypto wallets, DeFi services, NFTs, and tokenizations are some of the crypto's existing tools that can be readily applied toward building the future Web3 ecosystem. With the massive explosion of data, websites, and applications, Web3 promises a more open, equitable, and intelligent digital future. While no one can accurately predict what Web3 will ultimately look like, it's up to entrepreneurs and users today to build the next chapter of the internet. There will be enormous opportunities for those who can contribute to this evolution. In the next module, we'll look into the metaverse, a concept closely related to Web3. Web3 and the metaverse are often talked about together when people discuss what's next for the internet. The two concepts are closely related, but they approach the next chapter of the internet from different perspectives. While Web3 focuses on the relationship between users and information and who controls it, the metaverse concentrates primarily on how the information is presented and how users experience it. Web 1.0, Web 2.0, and Web 3 describe the evolution from the read-only web, the read and write web, to read, write, and own web. The metaverse is an evolution from two previous iterations of the internet, when users first accessed primarily text-based information, then consumed information in the form of text, images, videos, and real-time live streams. The metaverse envisions a future where users consume information in a fully immersive, virtual, real-time, and three-dimensional interface. Some even believe that users might experience the metaverse involving all five senses, making the metaverse essentially an alternative reality. The metaverse concept was coined by author Neal Stephenson in his 1992 science fiction novel, Snow Crash. The term gained popularity over the last few years as the idea of a virtual reality-based Internet of Experience caught the public's imagination. Sales of virtual reality headsets increased, and video games with virtual world elements became popular. These games provide the closest metaverse experience for consumers today. Despite some initial progress toward the metaverse, there are still different opinions about what the metaverse is or should be. There are some people who believe that the metaverse will be driven by virtual reality, with users wearing VR headsets, fully immersed in virtual worlds, and disconnected from their real environment. Another camp believes that augmented reality should be the primary mode of interaction. Users wear AR glasses or other interface devices to access an extra informational layer of perception while staying present with their physical environment. Other companies believe mixed reality is a better option, where users interact with physical and virtual items. Mixed reality allows users to immerse themselves in the real world while interacting with virtual environments, essentially enjoying the benefits of both worlds. Still, others believe digital twins will be what makes the metaverse genuinely revolutionary. Digital twins are a real-time virtual representation of physical objects or processes. The metaverse will likely include all the above elements, each serving different purposes. But one thing is certain: blockchain and cryptocurrencies are likely essential components of the metaverse. When we work, socialize, and purchase digital items in the metaverse, we need a secure way of showing ownership of digital items and transferring such ownership between people regardless of the platform they exist on. Digital money that can cross borders easily will be needed for a global, borderless metaverse. We will also want to participate in governance if the metaverse is a large part of our lives. Future iterations of current blockchain technologies are what will be used in the metaverse, although we can already see their applicability today. For example, blockchain-based wallets will enable people to have digital identities and own digital assets. Cryptocurrencies are easier to audit than in-game currencies, and it is easy to transfer and convert digital currency via the blockchain, whereas centrally administered in-game currencies and assets are not transferable among different gaming ecosystems. Moreover, just as we can establish who owns something, we can also show that an item is original and unique using blockchain technology. This ability is critical in the metaverse because digital objects can be easily copied. Governance tokens and DAOs provide the tools for decentralized decision-making, allowing users to control the rules of their interaction with the metaverse. In fact, early blockchain-based metaverse projects already exist and are experimenting with new business models. Play-to-earn games, for example, are built with blockchain technology and let users play games to generate income while having fun. The metaverse is an exciting future chapter of our digital lives, and blockchain is a core engine powering that future. In the following two modules, we will learn about GameFi and NFTs in more detail. A non-fungible token, or NFT, is a type of cryptographic token representing a unique asset. NFTs are tokenized certificates of digital or real-world assets. They function as verifiable proofs of authenticity and ownership using a blockchain network. NFTs are non-fungible, which means they are not interchangeable with each other. Such a feature introduces scarcity to the digital world. On the other hand, all fiat currencies and most cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Ether are fungible. Being fungible means an asset's individual units are interchangeable and indistinguishable from each other, making them perfect as a medium of exchange. Why did people create NFTs? When the world became increasingly digital, people were able to make copies of digital goods easily, such as pirated movies or copied software. Centralized systems were created to reduce those illegal activities. Today, it's extremely hard to download music and movies illegally online, but it remains incredibly easy to make digital copies of many things, and it's hard to prove ownership of digital goods. NFTs allow digital goods to have verifiable scarcity and provable ownership based on blockchain technology. Unlike cryptocurrencies, NFTs are individually unique and are therefore a great solution for representing ownership of unique assets. That's why NFTs are often referred to as crypto collectibles. While it's still possible to copy digital goods, NFTs make it very easy to determine whether someone selling or distributing a copy of a digital asset is its real owner. NFTs are primarily used to represent ownership of digital items, although they can also certify ownership of physical items in the real world. Similar to cryptocurrencies, NFTs can be traded in open marketplaces, but it's worth noting that the value of each NFT is unique. Both cryptocurrencies and NFT prices are volatile, so be cautious if you invest in them. NFTs have the potential to be one of the critical components of a blockchain-powered digital economy and Web3. They could be used in many different fields, such as video games, digital identity, licensing, ticketing, membership, certificates, fine art, and fractional ownership of assets. NFTs can be used by dApps to issue unique digital items and crypto collectibles. As unique collectibles, these tokens have a resale value on the market, and the NFT market has been growing rapidly in trading volume despite being volatile, like the overall crypto market. Another benefit of NFTs is that they could mitigate some common problems faced by many online gaming ecosystems. Some online games have already built sizable gaming economies. Using blockchain to tokenize gaming assets is a solution to alleviate challenges, such as management of gaming economies and proof of ownership. Depending on the blockchain they are minted on, NFTs could also allow players to take some of their in-game assets outside of the game ecosystem, allowing gaming worlds to connect to each other. While NFT usage in the virtual world is already flourishing, another exciting use case of NFTs is the tokenization of real-world assets. These NFTs can represent fractions or collections of real-world assets that can be stored and traded as tokens on a blockchain. This could introduce some well-needed liquidity to many markets that otherwise wouldn't have much liquidity, such as fine art, real estate, and rare collectible items. For example, a person may want to buy a piece of physical art to sell later, but lives on a different continent from where the artwork is currently stored. Instead of packing, moving, finding a new storage facility, and unpacking the artwork, an NFT certificate of ownership can be minted and transferred to the new owner, and along with it, the responsibility for paying for ongoing storage. Easy and trustless transfers of these assets could reduce friction in the global economy. Digital identity is another sector that can benefit from the properties of NFTs. Storing identification and ownership data on the blockchain would increase privacy and data integrity because blockchains are more secure than centralized databases. NFT virtual land on metaverse platforms is another promising use case. NFTs are perfect for representing virtual land ownership because each piece of land is unique. Landowners can use their plots to do many things, including hosting online events, displaying content, and advertising. NFT virtual land will likely continue to progress as we move closer to a metaverse future. If you want to create or mint your own NFT, it's a straightforward process. There are various standards to do this. The most prominent is ERC 721, a standard for issuing and trading non-fungible assets on the Ethereum blockchain. An improved standard is ERC 1155 on the Ethereum blockchain. It enables a single contract to contain both fungible and non-fungible tokens, opening up a new range of possibilities. Ethereum has traditionally been the home of NFTs and their development. It has a large user base and well-established NFT community, but transaction fees are very costly. There are a growing number of blockchain networks that you can use to mint NFTs, with some solving the problem of high transaction fees on the Ethereum network. You may wonder what gives NFTs their value? Why would someone be willing to pay money for a digital picture when you can just save the file from the internet? The value of an NFT works in a similar way to a piece of art. If you can prove that you own an original Picasso painting, then you can sell it for a lot of money or brag about your ownership. Anyone can make a copy of a Picasso painting because it's in the public domain, and if it's on display, anyone can look at it. But copies and viewing access do not diminish the value of a Picasso. Perhaps they even enhance it. The same goes for collectibles like rare baseball cards or collectible game cards. Proof of ownership and the rights that go along with that ownership are what NFTs represent. The most important thing you should remember about NFTs is their unique properties and potential use cases. It looks certain that NFTs are likely here to stay and become even more prevalent as we move closer to Web 3. GameFi is a fusion of the words game and finance. It refers to play-to-earn blockchain games that offer economic incentives to players. Players can earn cryptocurrencies and NFT rewards by completing tasks, battling other players, and progressing through different game levels. Unlike traditional video games, most blockchain games let players transfer gaming items out of the game's virtual world. This allows players to trade the items and crypto assets they have earned in the game on NFT marketplaces and crypto exchanges. GameFi has been growing rapidly since play-to-earn games became popular in 2018. The growth of DeFi helped boost the adoption of GameFi by providing the infrastructure needed to enable users to launch and trade their in-game tokens. The growth of the NFT market and the large amounts of money that began exchanging hands also pushed the development of GameFi. How do players get rewarded in GameFi? In GameFi, the reward can come in different forms, such as cryptocurrencies or in-game assets like virtual land, avatars, weapons, and costumes. Each GameFi project will adopt a different model and game economy. In most cases, the in-game assets are NFTs residing on the blockchain, meaning they can be traded on NFT marketplaces. In other cases, however, the in-game assets must be converted into NFTs before players can trade or sell them. Typically, the in-game assets also provide specific benefits to the players, allowing them to earn more rewards. But some games also feature collectibles, avatars, and cosmetics that are purely visual items and have no impact on the gameplay. Depending on the game, players can earn rewards by interacting with the game world, completing tasks, battling with other players, or building structures on their plot of land. Taking a page from DeFi, some games also let players generate passive income without playing the game, either through staking or lending their gaming assets to other players. At the core of GameFi projects, play to earn is a revolutionary and financially attractive model for people who play games. It gives players complete control and ownership over their in-game assets while offering opportunities to turn game assets into financial ones. It's different from the pay-to-play model adopted by traditional video games. Pay-to-play requires gamers to invest before they can start playing. For example, some video games require players to purchase licenses or pay subscriptions. Many games even have a pay-to-win model, where players have to spend more money to buy exclusive in-game content or in-game resources so that they can get an edge in the game. In traditional games, players can earn in-game currency and collect digital assets, but these items can't, or aren't supposed to, be traded outside of the game. In most cases, they don't carry any value beyond the scope of the game. Even when they do, players are often prohibited from monetizing or trading their assets in the real world. The gaming company usually controls and holds the in-game assets. Despite the innovative game economy in GameFi, keep in mind that things differ depending on specific GameFi projects. Blockchain technology can and should give players complete control over their in-game assets, but that's not always the case just because a game is blockchain-based. Another thing to note is that most play-to-earn games are free to play, But some GameFi projects require you to purchase NFTs or crypto assets before you can play the game. Unlike traditional game studios with centralized control over game updates, some GameFi projects allow the community to participate in the game's decision-making process. They can propose and vote for future updates via governance DAOs. GameFi applied in the metaverse led to the concept of blockchain-based metaverse platforms. Players can purchase digital pieces of land and develop them to generate revenue. For instance, they can charge other players visiting their land, earn token rewards by hosting content and events, or rent their land to other players. It's easy to see how GameFi attracts gamers by combining entertainment with financial incentives. With the growing popularity of blockchain games, we will most likely see an increasing number of companies building new, exciting GameFi products. Congratulations on completing this course on Web3 and the Metaverse, two mega trends that will reshape our future. Advance your knowledge for the decentralized world of tomorrow with our future courses. Remember to check out Binance Academy's website and follow us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter to stay tuned for our courses. See you in Binance Academy's next course.